of working environment because of differences in culture and a lot of other things. So I wouldn't say it was hard, but it was different. It was exciting, but at the same time, I had this overwhelming impact of getting too much information, a lot of information, because the ConsulNet is a big company of 4,000 people. So it's like you have to be on top of your game to get to know what's going on. So in the first few months, I felt like I was a fire hose of knowledge from everywhere, and it was hard to decide which knowledge to take in and which to let go, and which knowledge would be useful and which won't. And it was so overwhelming for me that I probably didn't make the right choices early in my career here in Australia. But thankfully, I had a wonderful manager, and I spoke to him about how I'm feeling, and then he described that I'm having imposter syndrome, and it's not just me. A lot of other people also feels the same when this kind of a situation happens, because in imposter syndrome, you feel like you don't belong here, or you feel like a fraud. Because in the beginning, I had this feeling, okay, I have moved here, I started working, I don't know a lot of stuff that probably my colleague knows, and maybe I'm a fraud. Maybe Klassen would find out that I don't know as much. And then I said to my manager the same thing, that I think you're gonna fire me someday because I'm not worth it. And he was like, if a Klassen has hired you in a 14-month long process, then we surely have seen something and then hired you. So just trust yourself and just understand that if we have made a choice, then don't let us down. And so I generally have a habit that whenever I try something, whenever I try to pursue something, I always try to put my 100%, my honest 100% effort, because it's an important lesson to understand that if you want to invest in yourself, there's nobody else who can invest in you. If you want to win, nobody will do it. So you have to start from yourself, invest in your career, in your personal growth, in your professional growth. And I realized this very early in my career, because when I was working at my first job, I realized that in a year's time, I realized that I'm not learning as much as I wanted to. That's the reason I switched the job within a year. So far I'm having a wonderful time at Klassen, and then after that the change wasn't as difficult to cope as I was thinking, but of course it depends on the kind of support you get, and fortunately I had enough support in terms of like professional support around me, but another thing which is important, that you don't have to rely on support. You are lucky if you get it, but if you don't get it, you have to be your own support. You have to find ways to tackle. Because especially one thing that I realized after moving here, that when you live with people from different backgrounds, different culture, different opinions, and completely different thought processes and completely different mindsets, you realize you're not the most important thing in the world, and you would realize that there are other people with different ways of thinking that you gotta respect and you gotta value. So, and you would